Situations as we grow up and go through this journey called life, things will happen to us. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they can be bad. Single events, single occurrences. Maybe it's like you win the championship or you ace a test or the very first time you went on vacation and your toes touched the sand on the beach of Florida. Good memories. But also these moments of impact, they can come through tragedy and hardships and difficult times. Maybe when mom and dad got divorced, or maybe when a friend of ours passed away, or we lost a grandparent. Hard things that challenge us. And when these moments of impact happen, these powerful times, good or bad, it's like the details are just more vivid. We remember the people that were around us, the conversations that were being spoken, the clothes that were on our back, the atmosphere, because that thing impacted us in such a way. Still to this day, even though maybe it was years ago, still to this day, we remember so many details about when it happened exactly. Moments of impact. How many of you can think back into your past and think back something that's happened to you, good or bad, that still to this day you can remember so many details when it happened? Raise your hand. Lots of us, right? Moments of impact. And I remember when I walked into this family meeting when I was in the 6th grade, right after the basketball things happened, my dad called a family meeting, and I walked into this family meeting and I was excited because my dad used to always do family meetings to surprise us with good stuff. So I walk in and my dad was to my right, my mom was across from my sisters to my left, my back was to the stove, to the sink, and to the fridge. I could see the living room with the TV, the wooden table my dad had built. It was a handcrafted table. It was beautiful. I hated the table though because it was extremely heavy and my father would never get the moving crew, and we moved a lot when I was a kid. I carried that stupid table all across the state of Indiana. But I remember all the details because mom looked at dad and dad looked at me, and my dad began to share about this divorce. And dude, it rocked me because my parents never fought really in front of me. I was naive enough when I was a kid to think that I had a picture perfect family. And the reason is my parents never fought in front of me. I was never allowed to go into the bedroom because, you see, I have one speed. It's called squirrel. And when I was 10, you can times this by 10s, dude, I broke everything, I destroyed everything. And my parents are like, listen, Nate, listen, we love you, son, but we need a place where we can think our bedroom off limits. I only remember the bedroom door 4 or 5 times even being open. But the truth is, as the divorce happened and my dad was ripped out of my life, I asked questions and I found out behind the bedroom doors where the verbal, the mental, and the emotional abuse happened in my family. Behind the bedroom doors where the drugs and the alcohol happened in my family. And I talked to my parents and I found out the truth, and my parents were like, Nathan, we were just trying to protect you so you could focus on school. I understand their why. I'm not saying they were wrong. I get it. It wasn't my concern. But it didn't change, so I felt lied to and betrayed. And I remember when I looked at my dad, who was my icon, my hero for so long, I looked at him and said, I'm never gonna be like you. I felt lied to and betrayed. But you know what they taught me to do unintentionally? I learned to do it. I watched them. I learned how to put on my mask. I learned how to walk the walk and talk the talk and look the look. I learned how to bury all of my hurts, my social, my emotional, my issues, the pressures of life. I learned how to put on my fake face and my fake smile, and I would go to school and everybody on the surface, it looked like I was okay. If I could hand you all a picture, and the picture that I would hand you would be a description of my life. The picture that I would hand you, it would be me sitting on the beach with the most white, pristine sand, and the ocean waters would be crystal clear and aqua blue. The sunsets would be yellows and oranges. The picture would look so beautiful. But below the ocean waters was darkness and depths and predators and prey. And I was screaming, but I was silent. And I didn't know it as a young man that it's okay to not be okay. And if I ask the question, how many of you sitting in here, when I talk about the mask and the fake face and the fake smile, and you go through the motions, but really at the end of the day, you've got issues and you've got stuff going on. How many of you, if you're honest, can relate to that mask? Raise your hand. Lots of us do, right? And I see the thing is, many of us, we wear the mask and we think the mask is keeping us safe, but I had to learn the hard way that the mask that I wore was the very thing that could hold me hostage. Because truthfully, at the end of the day, listen guys, man, I know we don't want to talk about some of the emotional and the social issues and some of the challenge that we have from peer pressure and worried about fitting in with certain groups and crowds and cliques of people, and we have stuff going on, and some of us, we don't even have the tools to cope with those mechanisms, right? And so we wear the mask and we act like it's all okay, but honestly, we're screaming, but we're silent. And for me, the mask that I wore, what happens is pressure begins to build, and pressure busts pipes. And when we don't deal with the social, the emotional, the mental, the pressures of life, or the way that we as people are supposed to, It can cause us to make bad and poor and dangerous decisions and choices.